Oh, let me turn off the music here real quick. There we go.
Unmute. Ah, next guy.
Hi, how are you, honey?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Another day in paradise.
You're in paradise?
Oh yeah, Vegas. It's about as paradise as I get.
What are you doing? Oh, that's Emma. She's waving hello.
Hi, honey.
Say hi, Emma. Go to bed. She's got a big day tomorrow. Yes, you do. You have band camp and horseback riding.
That is a big day.
Yeah, she has band camp all week, and then she has horseback riding twice a week. And this week we're trying to get it in during the week so she doesn't have to do it. Maybe I should do that too. I'm gonna have to run to the restroom real quick.
Go for it.
Huh. Is that better? Oh, that's to tell me to go on your thing. So is it better now?
Your lighting's perfect.
My light's good?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing over here with this one. Besides blinding myself.
I have the one Alyssa has, and then I have a different one. I have two, because I wanted to see which one I liked better, and I think I need two. I'm going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Maybe. I guess if I scoot back, it's not too bad. Hello, everybody. Alyssa is in Salt Lake City, so I have stepped in to help out with the Zoom tonight so she can concentrate on Poshy goodness and not need to stop in the middle of her day to handle the Zoom, so I'm helping out with that. We have Valerie here, who is absolutely amazing. She is an event queen and has lots of good information for us tonight. If you guys aren't familiar with Valerie, she is not in our tree at all. She has her very own team. She's just here to help us out. I got the pleasure to actually meet her when I was in New Orleans at PremierCon. She's absolutely amazing and a ton of fun. So I know you guys are going to enjoy this Zoom. We are going to keep everybody muted, and then at the end, if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. And when that's all over, we'll start the recording and open it up for an additional Q&A for any of you that are a little too shy to ask those questions while it's being recorded. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Valerie. You guys enjoy.
Hi, everybody. I'm a silver premier, and I'm actually on. Hi, Robin. I actually went to Paris with Miss Robin Darby. That's how I know her. But I'm on Bonnie Dodge's team under Leah Dalton, and then Bonnie Dodge. And I am one of her frontline premiers. So that is the team I'm on. And I don't know if you're familiar with Bonnie, but she's A1 wonderful. I love her. And I started with events from day one. Some people have this awesome warm market, and I didn't. My family still, it took my sister 4 years to actually buy something from me. It wasn't that she didn't like it. It's just that she didn't. I don't know. She was weird. My mom still won't buy anything for me. My best friends, they still buy here and there, but they're not constant customers. And I have a really good friend that took her 4 years to even try my products. And then she tried them, and now she's hooked. So, and she's like, man, these are affordable. I should have tried you a long time ago. Okay. So I had to start by doing events from day one. Some of the things I did do, just to give you a background, I started January 2013, and I basically had no idea what I was doing. My upline signed me up, and then she basically said, see ya. And I don't think I met Bonnie until maybe fall, I don't know. I was basically alone for probably the whole summer, and everybody on my team has been someone I met because I did an event. So all my front lines have been somebody I met that I did an event with, except for one person. She just joined February of this year. So just to give you an idea, so people have their businesses in all different ways. So You guys had asked some questions, so I do have that, and I think I cover all of them in my presentation. I did this for the Columbus PRM, and I'm going to be doing it for the Charlotte, and then I'm going to do another one here in Cleveland. So I do event information a lot. So you guys had asked me some stuff, so I made sure that I wrote it down, and I have it. So I did events that I created myself. I Googled events. I asked other direct sale people where they get events from, or how to get into events. I made friends with other direct sales people. And then I also did a lot of looking at, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. I looked online a lot, and I looked at convention centers in the area. I looked at different other things, just tried to find events. And that's how I found my events. So the smaller events are the ones that you're going to probably either create yourself, or other direct sale companies or other direct sale people that you network with could put you into them. So those are going to be like charity auctions, open houses, and church bazaars. Those are going to cost anywhere from free to $25 to $50. So you set up the table, you pay for your spot, and then you expose Posh to people who aren't in your warm market. Of course, you could have people in your warm market come and see you there because they want to buy the product, especially if you carry some cash and carry with you. So and one of the things that I got a lot of customers from when I first started, because Posh was so new, was the fact that I went and I gave samples to every vendor at the place. So that helped me a lot. So so the reason why events are important, it gets product on more people. It exposes you to people who've never heard of you before, and that's outside your warm market, and you get to talk to other people about products that they may not even know exist, which is just really cool. So it opens up this avenue of communication to help you get more people in your circle, so it makes your circle bigger. So that's why I think they're important. So that's how you find some events, or that's some of the events that you can go to. There's also trade shows, and there's also craft fairs that cost a lot of money. So I'll go through that in just a second. So some of you guys had asked inventory versus orders, collecting customer information, to tax or not tax, demos and samples, do you hand out catalogs or flyers, and who can watch my darn kids? Well, I don't have any ideas on who can watch your kids, except for maybe if you have a husband or a boyfriend or a mom or a really good friend, maybe you could trade sitting with somebody. I have a great husband who supports me 100% and watches our daughter, who is 12. I have another daughter who's 22. So she helps me at events sometimes. So, and sometimes he even comes to events and helps me set up. So I have a very good support system in that, because I've been doing this from the beginning. So I'm going to go through all these on how to do them, and I'm going to give you some more advice on a couple other things. So what to bring to events. I don't know if you can see what's behind me. I'm going to move out of the way. Can you see that? Nod your heads. You can see that. That is a event setup. I have it set up in my Posh room. I have people who come over regularly, and I do one-on-ones. So I have this set up in my Posh room. And one thing, I'm going to bring this over just a little bit closer so you guys can see it. One of the things I do is I get some really cool shelves. I don't know if you guys can still see that, but I get some really cool shelves, and people love them. But the less inventory that you have put out, the better it will be for your customers, because then they don't feel so overwhelmed. So this is like my Posh to Meet You set. And then I have, some hair things over here and a couple retired things, just some ideas. And then I put my testers down for the yummy hand creams on the table. Always good choice. Okay, so I have those shelves that I got at Target last year, and people love them. But I try to keep like 1 or 2 products in there, so that people don't think, oh, she's got a lot, I'll come back. No, I want them to buy right then and there. So when they walk up to my table and they see I have 2 beach blankets and they like that, they're going to might buy both of them. And then, of course, I can always have some under the table, stock, put them back out again. if that makes any sense. So we can go over through that. So you always have some good display items. You need to have a sign, you need to have a banner, you need to have containers to put your products in that are easy to carry, a cart, tables, tablecloths, make it very presentable. I can throw some on the thread. I'll throw some pictures of some of the events that I've done to show you what they look like. Awesome. And then, of course, one of my first questions is, have you ever heard of Posh? Because I do give out catalogs with anybody who purchases from me, or if they ask, I'll give them catalogs, or I'll give them a sample in a catalog. I like to get Posh on people. I like to make sure that they take a hand cream. Well, try the hand cream. Trust me, it's the best stuff you ever try. You guys all know this. And some people like to do drawings. I don't. I've done enough events that drawings to me are a big waste of time, because if you think about it, are those people really trying the product and then saying, oh, I really want to try this and I really want to win this party? No, they just want something free. So if you're going to do a drawing, I would give away a party. Like, you know, Mary Kay does this a lot. If you really want to do the party, if you want to do it, they get to have a party. You can value it at whatever you want to, for 10 to 15 of your closest friends, spa night, and then you go over and hopefully get some sales. I don't like that, but it's up to you how you do it. I just don't do it. I wouldn't want someone tricking me that way. So I don't do it. So I just basically, when somebody buys something from me, that person becomes my customer. So I get their address because I say I like to send you fun mail. And I give them samples, and they've bought some products, and they get a catalog. So a lot of times during the close into, like, the catalogs could be changing. So I say, hey, let me have your address so I can send you a new catalog with some new samples when the catalog changes in August, if I have an event now. And and then then I just reiterate, I send them a thank you card and stuff like that. So that's how I get my customers from events. And I do have inventory to sell. I always have inventory to sell. It is up to you what inventory you want to carry. However, I do recommend you carry the Posh to Meet You set along with the bath salts, because those bath salts for $4 a piece sell a lot, because some people are like, oh, I like bath salts, and they might buy them. And I carry everything. But you might want to just carry some of your favorites, because I can give you an idea, and I'll give you a list of things of what sells at events for me for the most part. But I have sold everything from a lip scrub to a body scrub to a body butter to everything. I've had people come up and say, do you have, and it's a retired product, and if I do have it, I take it with me. Because you never know, if someone's in love with that product, you have it, you sell it, it's part of your sales because you've had it. I don't put the product out if it's retired, because it's it kind of jumbles up the way that I want my event display to look. So I want it to look, decent. I don't want it to look too overwhelming for somebody who just walks up and doesn't know. And you'd be surprised how many consultants actually walk up and say, can I smell this stuff? Of course you can. Why not? And I don't poach customers from other consultants. If somebody tells me they have a consultant, I say, help yourself, smell whatever you want, then go to your person's website and order, because they do. And we're running into that too. So just make sure you have display items, tables, cloths, chairs, a tent. Make sure you have a waterproof tent if you're outdoors, because you don't know if it rains. And if you don't have a waterproof tent, everything gets wet and it's not fun. Trust me, I've been there, don't like it. Ugh. So, and then of course, somebody had asked me, how do you keep things cool? Dry ice is really good in a cooler. Just put out the stuff that doesn't melt. So put out the big fat yummy hand creams, the chunks. Do not put Snarky bars out, especially if the sun is directly on you. Don't put skin sticks out, especially if the, let me turn off my phone, I'm sorry. If the sun is directly on you, they will melt. and it's not really fun. You can keep them. Another thing people have said, I've seen, you should get one of those inflatable rafts that kind of has the dip in them. So you have like a little bottom part, and then you have the outside. It's like this bag that's blown up, and you can put ice in there and towels over it, and then you can put your products on top of that. Doesn't make for a nice display, but it keeps them cool. I just put out the chunks and the BFFs and a couple different things that I know aren't going to be getting gross. And then if they want to see skin sticks, they know what they're talking about. Or I pull them out because I want to show them. They say, oh, I get headaches all the time. You have something for that. Then I can pull the perk out from underneath the table, or I have a little area beside. I don't do a lot of outdoor events because Valerie doesn't like sweating. So, but I do have one coming up in June. But yeah, so if you're in an area where there's mostly outdoor events, it's best to keep it on dry ice or somewhere where your products don't get wet, because the labels will peel off. The labels will peel off, and it just won't look good, and you won't be able to sell it. So it's better to keep them in an area that is drier ice, and I think you can get dry ice fairly easily, or something, those ice packets where it doesn't melt and the ice doesn't melt, doesn't sweat. Or wrap towels around things and make sure they just stay cool. You don't have to have them frozen. So just make sure they stay cool. So that's just options in a cooler, under the table, or in plastic containers. I have a lot of plastic containers. I'll show you guys those, and I carry them. And they're just big enough to put like one item, or not one item, but one sets of items. Like all my big fat yummy hand creams go in this little plastic container that I carry with me. Make sure you have cash in the Square or PayPal for swiping or reader. Make sure you have that. Need to read about that. If you have Square and you don't have the Square chip reader, Square penalizes you somehow, so make sure you read about that. Make sure you have that reader. They do charge you for the reader. PayPal does the same. Order forms and bags for sales, pens, samples. If you're in a cemented floor area, make sure you have those, either a nice carpet to stand on for yourself, not necessarily for your customers, but for you, because standing for long hours can hurt your back and your heels and your legs and everything about you. I'm sure Robin knows all about that because she's a nurse. But and really good supportive shoes. And I got those little, it's like a comfort pad that puzzle together. It's like 4 of them in a pack for $17, and you can get a 10 by 10. Basically, it's 96 square feet is what you want, and so I think it's 6 packs of those, and that's nice, and it keeps you from hurting yourself too bad. And you can get those at Home Depot or that's a good question. I'll answer that one in a second. It depends on the event, Kathy. That would keep your back from hurting so bad. And make sure you have a chair. Some events are long, if they're from 11 to 9 p.m. Yes, you do want to be standing, but sometimes if there's no one at your booth and no one walking around, you can sit down for a few minutes. You need to eat sitting down. You can't eat standing up. That's not good, because you tend to eat faster when you stand up. So you need to eat sitting down. Just have fun. And, if someone walks up to your table, stand up and say hi to them. If you're eating, stand up, say hi to them anyway. And, those things are really great. And I always have adjoining information, and I also do have the kit bags. Sometimes I make a whole kit up, depending on how much room I have, and put the products in there so they can see it. It's kind of fun. So that's what to take to events, and, what to bring to events. So, the things that you sell at events are big items that you sell at the event is the Posh to Meet You sets. Those sell hands down probably 8 times out of 10. I will sell a Posh to Meet You set. But I add the bath salts as a choice. So they can choose a lip balm or a bath salt. They can have, or they can do 2 hand creams, lip balm or bath salt. Or they could do 2 chunks. I just sort of pick whichever 2 they want. And I sell those at my Christmas show. We sell them probably 3/4 of our orders are that. And then other times other things are facial products and masks, especially the Cackle Spackle. That one will sell out. The BFF will sell. The Night and Day will sell. The Never Grow Up Serum sells. Just some ideas. The Zit Zapper is going to sell. Gender Bender's a big seller, so I always have extras of those. Whatever Big Fat Yummy Hand Cream is like the A1 #1 seller, make sure you have that, because guess what? It's going to sell out. So I have 24 beach blankets in stock because I know that those things will sell. I will probably sell half of them at the event I have on next Saturday. So just to tell you, I sold them out in 3 minutes in one day, and I had 6 of them. People walk up, they smell that hand cream, and they buy it. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They just buy it. It's the one that they're going to keep. So a lot of things in the summertime that are really good. Make sure you have like the purifier stick, the honey, Totes Oats, the healer for sure. And if you have to pick 3 skin sticks, healer, perk, and sleepy sleep stick in the summer, make sure you have the purifier, because and make sure you have the honey body cream, because and just chilling, because sunburn and bug bites, people will buy those things. I had a lady walk up to me and buy 6 of the honey body creams because she wanted all of them, and she was just like, I'm buying all these because we're outside all the time, we go camping all the time, and they keep the bugs off of us. So you have to know what your audience is looking for at an event, and you have to know where you're going to be and do it based on the seasons. Healer will sell all year round. Summertime, it takes the burn out of the sunburn, and I sell tons of those. Sleepy sleep stick, everybody has that kid. Everybody has that person. They will fall. They want their kid to fall asleep. That sounds like heart. Everybody has headaches. Everybody buys the perk. So those are just some ideas of some good sellers to have in stock. And if you don't have them all, one thing I do is I say, well, I can order that for you, and it'll be there in a couple days. I'll go home and order it. I have them pay for it, and then I don't charge them shipping. I just ship it to them. I write that off, because if I don't have it, or I've sold out of it, I still can get it online, then I'm going to offer that to them at free of charge shipping, because, I'll just charge them whatever the tax is and go on. And I do charge tax because I'm paying tax. So I charge tax. Just some ideas. People had asked me how much events cost. Events cost anywhere from $25 to $2,000 or more, depending on what you're doing and what kind of event it is. Excuse me, need some wine. I got this from Melissa. It's all her fault. Okay, so at a smaller event, those are like church events, small festivals that cost between $25 to $50 to $100. They're only advertised to the local area and church members through yard signs, free ad in the paper. So they're not hugely advertised, so people don't know about them as much. So you're not going to get a huge crowd. I usually make $200 to $300. Usually sell about that much. I always offer the opportunity, and sometimes I get some recruits from those. Actually, that's how I got my first recruits, because this is all I did. I did these small events for about 1.5 years. And with those, you usually get electricity is normally free. It usually comes first come, first serve. You get a table and a chair to display your stuff on. So you just have like a little area for your table and your chair. Larger events is where thousands of people, and I think Robin just did one. Is that right? Nod your head. Okay. And they cost anywhere, depending on where they are, $200 to thousands of dollars. And that's due to higher advertising. They're advertised on the radio. They're advertised in the newspaper. They got big signs saying, hey, come to the IX Christmas Connection. And it's a big sign, throughout Cleveland. That's where I live, and that's one of the big shows I do. And they give you a 10 by 10 booth, or they give you a 10 by 15 booth, or they give you a 10 by 20 booth. But you pay for the size booth. 10 by 10 is going to be cheaper. 10 by 15 is going to be a little bit more. And 10 by 20 is going to be bigger. Of course, the bigger you go, because you're paying for the space that you have. So it's basically like a little pop-up store. And then they also have inline booths, and they have corner booths. I like the corner booths because people don't want to walk into a booth to look at these products. They want to. It's great for certain things because they feel like they're going to get trapped. So I do the corner booth, and I set everything up so it's facing on the outside of the aisle. So they can walk by, they can stop and look, and they don't feel trapped. And I'm on the inside of the booth standing on my wonderful soft carpet. And then and then there's a table between me and them. And then if they start asking a bunch of questions, that's when I start coming out, because then that's when they're ready for me. Otherwise, I just let them look, I let them ask me questions. And then when they start asking a little more where I need to come out and start handling products and showing products, then I do that. Because I don't want to scare anybody off. Trust me, it's funny the things that people say to you when you say hi to them. Oh, I have a dermatologist, and they run away. I'm like, okay, I just said hi. It's like the things people say. So you want to make them feel comfortable, and they don't, you don't want to scare them off. So, and at these large events, people tend to be a little skittish, like we're going to jump out, sell something to them, because there are people who actually do that at large events. But when you do these large events, you have to pay for your table, or you have to bring your own. You have to pay for electricity. You have to pay for Wi-Fi. You have to pay for everything. Whereas the smaller events, everything's basically free, because they don't know that they can charge for those things. So, and there's also union workers involved and stuff like that. So it depends on the event, how long it takes me to set up, and it depends on the event, how long it takes me to tear down. A large event is going to take me probably 2 to 3 hours. Small event, an hour at the most, depending on where I'm at and what I'm doing. I prefer the large events, and I prefer to do them with a partner. I don't like doing large events by myself, because then I can't pee. So, and I had that question, when alone, how do you take a break? Well, you get to know the people around you, and you ask them could you watch my booth for 5 seconds? I need to go pee. Or can you watch my booth for 5 seconds while I go grab something to eat? Or you bring your food with you and you never leave the booth, and you just ask somebody to watch your booth while you go pee. But I do like having a partner, and I prefer, and I know this sounds funny, is to partner with somebody who's on the same level as me. I do have some downline that I like to who I like to be with, because they're my friends. And I treat them as such. I don't treat them as they're my downlines. I like them because we're on even level. But I think sometimes downlines feel like, and sometimes with downlines, and I don't know, it's just that they feel like I should be giving them everything because I'm their upline, and I don't feel that way. I think that everybody's on an even playing level, and everybody gets a chance for everything, and I'm still building my business just like they are, etc. So I treat everybody same across the board, no matter what they are and who they are. It's just, I think some people think that way. And I do have a couple of them that do that to me. So I don't do events with them anymore, because it's not fair to me to think, well, okay, you guys take all the contacts and I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs, even though you're selling all my inventory. So I like splitting everything 50-50 when I do events. So not only do you have to pay for the events, you have inventory to think about, because those big events, you do need inventory. At the smaller events, you can get away with taking orders and getting contacts, because people are probably used to that. They're not really used to just going in and buying a bunch of stuff. But those large events like home shows and charity events that are really big, and like the one that Robin did, I'm sure she had to have some inventory, because people want to walk up and buy it and take it home. They don't want to wait for it. So I think that when you're at that, so you not only have to calculate the cost of the event itself, you have to calculate the cost of how much inventory you need. And the event that I do in Christmas time, the weekend before Thanksgiving, it's kicked off. It is a 10 by 15 booth. It costs us about $1,200. There's 3 of us that do it. We each bring the same amount of inventory, and we sold last year, or we based our inventory on what we sold last year, and I usually add 20 to 25% more inventory, because that's what we've been selling. I've been doing this for 4 years. So based on my 4 years, we've been going about 25% to 40% more than what we sold a year before. So last year we sold 5,800. So this year, hopefully, whatever 40% of that is, I usually say we need to have 40% more inventory to sell. So we want to have more inventory than we sell, because you don't want to sell out, especially at a big event. And this is probably 60 to 80,000 people coming through in 3 days. And it's busy, and it stays busy. It only slows down at the very beginning. Most events from 10, let's say the event starts at 10 to 11, it's very slow. And then 11 o'clock, and then say it ends at 8, 11 to 7, it's going to be slammed packed, busy. It's one of those big events. And then between 7 and 8, it trickles off. So you have a little time to catch your breath, eat some food, whatever. So that event is a huge event. So we split it 3 ways. So we split the sales split 3 ways. And then I walk out to contact somebody. That person belongs to me, but we split the sale if that person buys. But I get to keep the contact. And then we split the cost of the event 3 ways. And then we split the inventory 3 ways. So we each bring the same amount of inventory. So everything's split. And then when I do it with someone else who's just another person, we split it 50-50. Everything's split 50-50. That way we're working as a team, and we're not trying to, well, oh my gosh, Valerie sold $300 and I haven't sold a thing. And that really makes somebody really nervous and freaked out. So then they're never going to sell anything, because then they're silly, feel like it's a competition, and people can read that off of somebody. So if we work as a team and we help each other sell, and we know that it doesn't matter if I sell $300 that day and you sold nothing. You were still out there working. You were still out there getting contacts. You were still talking to people. I can't tell you that that person's going to buy from you, or this person's not going to buy from me. It's you don't know. So it's not fair to say, well, you get the sales of your person and your contacts, and I'll keep all my sales. If you're having a really good day and people are buying from you, but your partner's over there having a good day, but she's not getting anybody to buy, or she's just not getting the luck of the draw, it's not fair to her to be working just as hard as you and not walk home with any money. So it's very important to make sure you split those sales in half or by thirds or however. And then we work out with inventory. We kind of work that out at the end. So if someone happens to sell something of mine, they just replace it with we just trade stickers. That's what we do at the very end of the event. Where someone would have to buy something to replace it if they don't have it, whatever. We do everything at the end. We don't do it day by day. When I do events with everybody. Yes, we do that, Kathy. We make it for that event. One of my girls is a school teacher, and she takes care of all that for me, because when I do an event with Ashley, we sort of know how much we have. I do it with Ashley Egas, and we don't really care. We just make, like, if I sell something of Ashley's, I say Ash, I write Ash on the ticket after I give it to my person, and she writes Val, or she sells mine. And then at the end of the day, we just sort of flip it out. We don't really count our inventory. Me and Ash don't, because we have basically the same amount, but I do with my downlines, because my downline likes to do that. So that's important. She doesn't carry it. They don't carry as much as I do, but Ashley carries about as much as I do. So we're okay with that. And you have to work it out with whoever, but when you're working, with somebody, you have to make sure that you do it what's comfortable for you, if that makes any sense. Okay. How do you find events? Google local festivals. Google join local Facebook groups if you have any of those. Network with other direct sale consultants. Check out local convention centers and their trade show schedules. Contact local churches and school PTAs, and you can create your own. There's a lot of people that do that in this area. They create their own events in the area. So that's how I just found them. I just Googled a lot of things. I just Googled, or there's also an area, I don't know if you guys have it, but in our paper, we have an area where it's craft shows, and it lists all the craft shows. So you can make a list of those, and you call the coordinator and you ask, do you have a Posh rep? When I first started, it was easier for me to get in. It's a little harder now. But you can find them. And there's still a lot of places at a local festival, especially outdoor events, that a lot of people don't do. Because Posh is not a very outdoor friendly product. A lot of people don't do them. So you can possibly still get into those as well. So let me make sure I have all your questions. And Kathy, you asked me a couple of questions, and I'm going to read those really quick. if I can figure out how to do that. Okay. Okay. It's Kathy asked how long it takes to unpack and set up for my event. So it just depends on the event. Anywhere from 1 hour to 2 to 4 hours. I usually have a helper for the large events, and I've got it down to a 10 by 10. Now the IX Center is a 10 by 15, and that one takes me all day. It takes me about 6 to 8 hours to do that one. But we do bring a lot because it's a big event. And yes, I do have a tester for everything. I have a tester for every single item I have. Every single item I have in stock, every single item I have, period. I have a tester. So I do have a tester of every Big Fat Yummy hand cream because what I like is not what everybody else likes. I don't like Beach Blanket, but I sell the heck of it. It's not my favorite scent, but I love Paper Moon. So everybody has different scent ideas. So you have to have it so people can smell it. I have every chunk open. Let me show you. Let me close this here. I'll show you my chunks, how I have them open. So I have my chunks open. And what I do is I rip open. Let's see if I can get this open. This one's been, this is a Spalsum, old Spalsum. And I don't change packaging, but I rip it open and then I just fold it down. So it's nice and neat. And then I have these up on the thing and it says try me. So they can smell it easily and they can dump it out and they can see how big it looks and they can see how pretty it is. So I have my chunks like that so they can see them. I have the Big Fat Yummy hand creams open. I have everything. The only things I don't have testers of are the bath salts because they can smell them and nobody needs to try a bath salt. I don't usually do that. So, and I do have testers of the scrubs, but I wish we had a smell me sticker because I really don't want them trying them. I mean, they can. And some people do have scrub stations at their booths. I don't. I've been exploring the idea of it. Maybe I'll sell more scrubs if I do. But people who like scrubs are going to actually do it. Like, might be fun, you know, set up a little mini mani station. Do your scrub and then put your Big Fat Yummy hand cream on. That's a lot of people say they do that. And it's a really good seller and people like to try that. They get little free mini, you know, free pampering right there on the spot. So I always did inventory. I take orders only if I don't have the product. Collecting and comfort customer information is only if someone buys from me. I do tax. I have demos and then I give out samples. If they buy, they get a sample. If they're interested in the product but they want to go look around or whatever, I'll hand them a sample with my information on the back, put a sticker on the back. So here, have a sample. Or if I'm just trying to generate some things, I might make up some bags with some catalogs, especially if I'm trying to give catalogs away, because we're getting ready to change them. I'll say, here, have a packet of samples. Here, have something special. Go home and posh yourself. Go home and pamper yourself. You know, and people are like, oh, thanks. And then it sometimes gets people to stop at your booth, especially if it's kind of like a big event, but there's no one stopping. So you want to generate, you got to get out there and start talking to people. Or you can stand out there with a Big Fat Yummy hand cream. Want to try a lotion? This stuff will change your life. You know, it just depends on what's making you feel comfortable. Sometimes you have to get out of that comfort zone too. And I do hand out catalogs. I have flyers that I put in, especially if someone is interested in joining. If they, you know, say, oh, I really like this kit. What is this? What can I do? I really was looking in. So I put that information in. And then one thing I do, I take it one step further. And your guys are going to laugh at me. But if they buy from me, I friend them on Facebook and put them in my VIP group. There's a reason for that, because especially if the person wants to join, then I have a contact right there. It's safe for them. They don't have to give me their phone number. And I can just send them quick PMs. I'm friends, but I have them take my phone, hand it to them, find themselves, and then I friend them. So when they friend me or accept my invitation, I then take immediately, once they do it, I put them in my VIP group and then I welcome them to my VIP group so that everybody knows that they're a brand new customer who just bought from me. And anybody who buys from me goes in my VIP group. and then I offer the specials and stuff to them. And I send them a nice little thank you card because I get their address. I always get their address, always. I don't really care if I have their email or their phone number, to be honest. I have a way of contacting them through private message or on Facebook, so I do that. It's easier for me, and I think it's more comfortable for most people. So that's one thing I do. And it's kind of fun. And people think, I said, do you want to be my friend? And they think that's funny, and they laugh. And of course, they want to be your friend. So, so I do hand out catalogs to anybody who buys from me. If they ask for a catalog, I will hand it to them. I don't just say, here, have a catalog, and then I walk away. I want them to buy at that point in time. I do want contacts, but I also want them to buy from me too, because I'm there to recoup the amount of money that I've invested into that event. And if I invest $500, I need to make $1,000. That's a good show. Does that make sense? So that's one of the things. So let me make sure I have all these questions. We do make a list for him. I always take an inventory all the time. Okay, Kathy, you said, so what if they want to place a big order? Do you have them place it online, or do you place it for them and swallow the shipping? At an event, I swallow the shipping every single time. I will always offer free shipping because that will get them to place the order. If I have most of the products in stock, I'm going to give them those products to take home, because an instant gratification is so they're not waiting for their shipment, unless they say, no, I'll just wait. And then I go home that night after I collect the money. I'm collecting the money from them. I go home that night and I order it immediately. And I do swallow shipping. I don't swallow tax, I swallow shipping. How many samples do you typically bring to your event? I have lots of samples. I bring one of my favorite samples to give out are facial samples. And they can try the Big Fat Yummy Hand Cream at the event. So I don't normally give those out because they can try them at the event. But I do give facial samples like the BFF and the Night and Day and the Moisturize 911 and the Cackle Spackle, because who wants to try a Cackle Spackle at the event? Now, they could try it on their hand, yes, but people want to try it on their face. So I give a lot of facial samples out, and body scrubs and stuff they can't actually try at the event. Soap samples, chunks. I make this chunk samples because I like, at Christmas time, I like to take the little chunk samples that we have that are pre-made, and I like putting them in gift box or gift bags with other items, and I sell them for a discounted price. I still make money off of it, but I sell it for a discounted price, and people tend to like those little gift packages, and I throw that little chunk in there. So like I can make a gift package to make it pretty, put a Big Fat Yummy Hand Cream and a chunk in there and a lip balm and sell it for, $15. And they're still getting quote unquote the Posh to Meet You set, but they're not paying the $22, $23 for it, if that makes any sense. And then one more question. Yes, I have gotten every single person that I have ever recruited, I have met at an event, except for one. And she's a friend that I've known for 25 years. So every single person that I have ever recruited has been from an event. I just talk to them, and that's how I do it. I just say, hey. And then some people, I don't even really say much about it. They just fall in love with the product, and then they say, I want to join. They message me and say, I want to join. I always mention the opportunity. I always let them know, hey, you can, especially if somebody is going, oh my gosh, this smells so good. Oh my gosh, I can't see. Oh my gosh, they're trying all these products, and they're just like, and they're popping all over the place. That's somebody you zero in on, and you say, you really like these products. You need to join, and you can get a discount. That gets them their interest right there. They're going to buy from you that night because they want the products to take home with them. And then they're going to jump on the fact that they can get a discount. So a lot of times I get them to I friend them on Facebook, and then I send them the polka dotted guide. A link of it. I always send them the polka dotted guide, and I send them information, and I have already shown them what the kit looks like because it's sitting right there, and talking about it and say what's in it. Sorry. So that's important. No, they don't. I have never ever had anybody join right then and there. I had one girl who wanted to, but she didn't have her checkbook, so she couldn't join, and she ended up never doing it. So, which, okay, then she probably wasn't supposed to. But I have never really had anybody join right then and there. I've had I had partners who had that happen once, but usually people take a minute, they think about it. But I had a girl at the last event that I did in February, which was a big, gigantic event. She talked to me for probably, I would say, 3 days after the event. She asked me a bunch of questions. She wanted to make sure she was doing the thing, and then she joined. I've had people string me along for 2 months before they join. I've had people join that night. They go home and join, but no one at an event. But it's still, they join. So, I've had that happen. Let's see what else. It is worth the investment to have cash and carry at events because people like the instant gratification. And I think I answered the cash and carry what my favorites were. And I'll put some list things down too in different, so you guys can read them. Maybe I'll put some posts and see if that's okay with Alyssa before I do it. Outside events, my advice, make sure you have a waterproof tent with sides. I can put a link as to the waterproof tent that I own. It comes in like all kinds of different colors. White is the best color to have. Yes, it gets dirty, but it's not as hot. Pink is awesome, but pink is hot. So I'm all about staying cool. I'll also, on hot events, if they do have electric outside, take a fan with you so you have it blowing on you at all times. Because it's, if it's stagnant, hot outside. If you're just starting out, this is Emily Scott. She's saying that if she's just starting out, it's up to you what you pay for your event. It depends on what you want to get out of that event. If you want to get your feet wet, go with a small event. Take your time, get in there, and then bump up. So do a couple small events. You're not going to get a huge, it's $25, $50. Just make sure you sell what you put in, double it. So if your event costs $25, make sure you sell $50. That's not hard. You can sell $50 to a vendor who's sitting next door to you. Make sure you always talk to the vendors. Be friendly to everybody who is in that room. It doesn't matter if, even if you don't like them, if you met them before, just be friendly to them. Just smile and say, hi, be nice. I definitely like having cash and carry better than taking orders and sending them. I do give some samples, especially like if they order, let's say they do a Posh to Meet You set, but they've looked at Big Fat Yummy Hand Cream. They've looked at the BFF and the Cackle Spackle. So I'll throw a couple of those in there. I say, hey, I've thrown a facial in there. And I show them how to do it. And I say, if you have any questions, you're my friend on Facebook, just send me a PM. And they love it. They think that's great. And then I follow up with them later. I send them the thank you card, and I follow up with them later and say, hey, did you ever try the samples I gave you? To see what they thought. Did you try your soap? Didn't it change your life? You follow up with them so they stay customers. And when alone, how you take a break? I think I answered that. Just going over it again. I just asked somebody beside me, can you watch my booth for 5-6 minutes so I go pee? And usually the vendors are all in the same boat. Most of them are by themselves, and they're very, very welcoming, and they will watch your booth for you. I take cash and I take PayPal. I do not take credit. I do not take checks unless I know the person. If the person comes in, it's a good customer of mine, I will take a check. But I will not take checks from a stranger, and I will take a debit card, but I swipe it immediately onto my PayPal, so it's already in there. So they're paying for it up front. I don't write down their credit card number. I swipe it or put it in with the chip. And I don't like doing raffles, and I always give out catalogs. So I think I've answered everything. Anybody else? I think I did pretty good there. Have any questions? With my inventory, just so you know, I carry 6 of each hand cream I try to carry 3 to 4 of each chunk. I carry a little more for the more popular ones like Gender Bender, the Hunk Chunk, and Yugo Coco is a very, very popular one. You can see I have fairly much. I usually try to carry 3 of each item. The only things I don't carry 3 of are the body butters and the body scrubs. But if you're a big seller, if you sell these because you love them, by all means, carry what you think is important. I usually have a sample and 1 in stock. And then it depends on who I'm working with, but I usually only try to have 1. This one I sell more of, so I usually have 2 of this one in stock. It just depends on what the scents are, and you get an idea when you do your first event which products are going to sell and which ones aren't. With the skin sticks, I usually have 6 healers, 6 sleepy, 6 perks. In the summertime, I have 6 purifiers, but everything else I already have 3 of, plus the tester. The cackles, I usually have 6. I mean, no, you're not going to sell them all, but I have them because you never know what people are going to buy. And I don't want to run out of something, especially if I want someone to go home with it. So it's my investment. It's what I did. And it is a good investment. And then what I usually do is I just take that investment and put it right back into my business. So then I'm getting paid commission again or I'm getting paid commission for what I just sold. So that's why I say you need to double what you invest. So if it's a $500 event, you need to sell 1,000 or more at least. So here, I got more questions here. Oh, you're welcome. Welcome. All right. So did you want to take everybody off mute? I can't hear you. You're on mute still.
If anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask a question instead of typing it, by all means, go ahead.
Because I'm going to be here drinking my wine.
Nobody?
Have you had any total bomb events? And if so, how did you handle that situation?
Well, my bomb events have never been huge events, except for one. Most of my bomb events have cost me $25 to $50.
Okay.
So, because they're not advertised. I did have a big bomb event at the end of March. We did not make our booth fee. We actually just made our booth fee back in 3 days. And we were a little bit peeved about that. And so we basically just said we won't do this again. We barely made we doubled our booth fee the year before, but for some reason it wasn't advertised as well this year, or, well, there wasn't a big draw. And at this show at downtown Cleveland needed a big draw. So the first year that they did it, they had it was a home and garden show. Those are touch and goes depending on who they have at the home and garden shows. So let's see. So the first year they had really good Friday and Saturday, and because they had Fixer Upper, they had Chuck and Joanna there both nights. And then on the year we did it, they had the Property Brothers on Saturday. So that place was busy. We made all our money on Saturday. It was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday show. And then last year, the one we just got done here in March, didn't have anybody. I mean, I think they had Hillary from, what is the name of that show?
Love It or List It?
Yes, Love It or List It. And she didn't draw anybody. And it was downtown Cleveland, and it rained all weekend. So, and it's a hard venue to get to. So it wasn't, people will come for the Property Brothers. People will come for Joanna and Chip, but they're not coming for Hillary. She's not as popular. So if they have a big draw, but the company didn't make money. So we just said that one, we broke even. And breaking even to me, when I'm out there doing all that work and I'm working, 28 hours a weekend, I don't want to break even. I want to make money. So we were a little upset about that, but that's the only one I've ever had. And, of course, $25. Okay. I didn't sell anything. Tax write-off. Yes, this is a tax write-off for the big event, but my big events. But the more you go to an event, just so you know, like let's say you pay for an event that's $200, and the first year was kind of iffy, you made 300. Make a decision and think, well, maybe I'll go out and go ahead and go and do it again. So do it again to see what the next year will do. And that's what I did with a lot of my events. So I paid the $200 again to see how I would make it. And then people start coming back for you because you were there last year. Oh, you're here again. Oh, how about this? Oh, do you have? So then you have residual sales. So the more you're at an event and the more you stay in that spot at that event, people will find you. So that's why the Christmas event has upped its sales each year, because people have said, oh, Posh is at the Christmas event and they were been here for 4 years. This will be our 5th year doing it. My 5th year doing it, not everybody's, but mine. And we have, gone up anywhere from 25 to 40% each year, because we've been in the same spot for 3 years. The first year I couldn't afford it by myself. I was by myself first year. Second year, that was a bomb. Third year was a bomb. The third year was a bomb. The 4th year was amazing, and the 5th year is going to be even better. So we're kind of, you kind of play with it a little bit. So it just depends. So always the first year is going to be the lowest, I think. So, and Alyssa just said thank you. You're welcome, Alyssa. She just started. So if anybody else has any more questions? No. I guess I covered everything.
I'm going to stop the recording real quick.